Okay. Hey everyone. I hope you can freaking hear me. Dude, I just looked at with the couch cat hat and the glasses, I look like such a fucking nerd right now. Um Hopefully you can all hear me. Can I get some thumbs up before I do an intro and realize I'm muted? Cause that would suck. Hello, hello. Okay. I obviously am not muted because Silver always all right. Always do the opposite of what Silver says. So hey everyone, this is another Couch Cat stream. I'm Paizen, the second half of Couch Cat. Can you say that? I think we can say that. And today I'm going over just very briefly. I have my afternoon pre-workout, which is coffee. It took me a lot longer to get this ready than normal, but that's a story for another time. But anyway, I want to quickly go over the latest blog post that was dropped by Mike, Galahad Creative, about the current state of IdleMMO and the plans. Camera's here, but I'm looking at chat. It's a thing. So without further ado, let me pull this up. Okay, so we're here. I shouldn't be muted. We're fine. So if you don't know, okay, that's highlighted. If you don't know, earlier today, Mike dropped another detailed blog post. Well, I say earlier today, but really it was yesterday for those of us in the US EST. But it's got a lot of good stuff in it. It covers essentially all of the post feedback and implementations or changes so far of the game since phase 1 and phase 2. So if you're a player who wasn't even involved in phase 1, which is someone like me, someone like Crazyfy, and most of the community, unless you've worked with Mike for a long time, or if you were involved in phase 2, which CouchCat surely was, and 50 others, there's a lot of feedback generated, specifically phase 1 and also phase 2. So Mike, he addresses the feedback, the changes, and most importantly, he also mentions a couple other things, especially with memberships and the potential release of this game. Because if you go to the IdleMMO Discord server, it's linked down in the description. So is the blog post. So if you want to read this yourself, if you haven't already, I highly recommend going to it at a later time because you're here now. But everyone's always asking, when is this game being released? And if anyone remembers the OG post, it was supposed to be released by summer 2023. Well, looking at my watch, it's almost fall officially. That's not going to happen. But he addresses that, and we're going to go on to it. But anyway, real quick, shout out to everyone in chat who's stopping by. I know this is very impromptu. Glad you could make it. And I love seeing all the YouTube members here in chat as well. This video is obviously sponsored by all of you. Every YouTube member, every friend, every fan who's smashing the like button, subscribing, becoming a YouTube member. Thank you very much. So let's move on. As I ripped the detail from the blog post, it says an update on ILML, beta testing, feedback review, and a deep dive on what has changed by Mike. And he summarizes essentially the planned launch and what's actually going to happen. Shout out to Yomu, who's in chat, a co-developer for IdleMMO. So if you're unhappy with the game, DM him. He loves that. Just kidding. Please don't do that. Don't harass Yomo. All right. And essentially in the first part of this blog post, Mike, he's essentially saying we don't want to have a release time because one, they can mess it up, apply too much pressure, etc., etc. Whatever developers say these days. But essentially it comes down to this: the percentage, the likely chance of when this game will release. And so before October, things are looking great. It's 0%. And then going before November, 60%. And then before 2024, which obviously December, 95%. Interesting stuff how you chose to do this, but there's your answer. So if you're in the IdleMMO Discord server and someone says, when is this game being released? Or if you even think about DMing me, when is this going to be released, you're going to get copy and pasted this shit. Very interesting, very funny, but hopefully we'll see it before 2024. Crazyfy and I were actually talking about this offline. you know, instead of we're really against. Okay, maybe that's a strong. I'm really against because Crazy Fight's not here to say it. Even though he's in chat, thank you for the support, dude. I'm really against the whole early access model, just from a avid indie game player off of Steam. You know, yeah, there are some gems that they take like 5 years to come out, and everyone's paid like $29.99 for that game or whatever. But the whole like heavy monetization to open doors for support and then flesh out the game as it's being supported. If you have the means, which I think they do, and the decision they've made, I think it's the right one, where they're going to sit on it. They're going to expand testing. It's all in the blog post, but they're going to expand testing. There's not going to be a hard release date like we just went over. And they're going to have more things implemented and ready for launch of IdleMMO when it goes public. And it'll be a hot drop. So ODST, they'll be dropping in, you know what I mean? God, that's a reference. So let's move on to the second main section of the game. It's phase 1 and phase 2 beta tests. So here, this is what I was talking about very briefly in the beginning, the feedback data. I apologize to Galahad Creative. I wasn't even aware of phase 2 ended on a Sunday, and I wasn't even aware there was a feedback survey. I don't know if you did it, but I definitely did it. So my apologies. But they've collected feedback data, and they've put it. They had the data, and now they're able to show the community, based off of the questions of the survey, the overall consensus. But they do mention that not everyone, including myself, right? Not everyone gave answers, and those who did give answers, they didn't answer every question. So the data is skewed. So I'm not even going to waste my time going over it. But you can see if you go to the blog post, the percentages of 1 to 5 of the enjoyability, the smooth experience. What else do we have? Do you see yourself playing IdleMMO if it's been publicly released? And question 4 was your thoughts on their approach on an indie game that's a hybrid. It's a hybrid. I said indie, but it's idle. It's a hybrid idle game where they want to have player participation with idle elements. Yeah, and then they have some highlighted responses here. I'm not gonna go over it again. It's in the blog post. And then there's questions 5 through 8, which I don't know. I didn't do it. Okay, so let's move on to changes. Hey Zerno, dude, there's so many cool people here. AFK as well, Cotton Candy, Fire, Liam, Fire. I don't think I've ever seen you. So welcome to the stream, and Fluffy, of course, in Serotonin being one of the first. Good to see everyone. Okay. Heidel? Did I say Heidel? Oh, you mean combining hybrid and idle. Yeah, Heidel. Welcome to the Heidel genre. That would look good on a t-shirt. All right, so let's go over the changes, because I'm sure phase 1 had their moments, right? But definitely as a phase 2 tester, there are things that need to be changed. And there's a lot of vocal feedback. Maybe not vocal, but text-based feedback in the part of the Discord server that was allotted to testers. And yeah, there was a shit ton. So let's see what we got from it. Here, Mike's acknowledging that because of the feedback, there were changes in their plans, and rounding out the gameplay and the features and mechanics of the game, essentially, making the game, giving more to the game than initially planned with the release, right? It ties all. It's like this, just circle. It ties in. You'll see. But anyway, the biggest change that we got out was the battle system. Still, it's good or bad here, everyone. But so essentially, if you were in phase 2, I can't speak on phase 1, but if you're in phase 2, the battle system for you was, and it's all based on movement speed, and they even mentioned that it's still based on movement speed, which is leveled, at least right now. It's leveled while doing combat in the game, just like all of your other attributes that are leveled from combat. So like strength, defense, etc., dexterity, movement speed. very RuneScape-ish without, weapons dictating or like a stance dictating what you're actually leveling. It takes a long time to level up movement speed. So as a phase 2 tester, you were selecting your mob or your enemy NPC that you wanted to kill. You were engaged in a hunt, and a hunt took a long freaking time. So you had to wait for a cooldown essentially for a hunt to take place, and then you had like 5 minutes to react to that hunt. So you click the mob, you click hunt, you had that cooldown, you click attack, and then you actually view your NPC versus the enemy NPC. 1, 2, 3 hits, whatever it took. Or if you were like me and you're like, how far can I go above my level, and you got one shot, you waited 40 plus seconds to get your ass kicked. But yeah, that was combat, and that is where they want you to be most active, because there's no, like, say, Ironwood RPG, Melvor, Idle Clans, what have you, any other idle game that's out there, that's brushes, it dips into the MMO genre or just RPG genre, right? The solo player idle experience is great if you're into that. There's no continuous combat. There's no, you select a mob and you go away and you come back and you're way freaking stronger and you've killed 500 mobs and you have 1,000 bones and you're chilling like a villain. It's very active. So it bogged down your experience. I got to level 5. There are people like Axie Storm, who's in the chat. Yeah, so there's people in the chat like Axie who leveled up. They min max and they're homeless, so they can do this. I'm just kidding, Axie. But like, I stopped at level 5. There's some people I talked to who just didn't do combat, and I eventually did that too. I wanted to forge. I liked forging, but combat was a slow, boring process. And so here they're discussing how to make it better, and the change they're talking about is you don't have to, one, less clicks, and 2, you don't have to actually view the combat play out. So what they're saying is, again, you will hunt, you will have a cooldown, it will automatically move forward to the combat phase, and you don't even have to witness it, right? And then the combat's done. But it will remain where you can't continuously engage in combat. That is going to be your active component. That's where the hybrid, I coin, this hybrid idle game, because even though you don't have to go through the many clicks like we did in phase 2, you will still have to wait. The combat will still take place, and you'll still have to re-engage with a mob. So like if you're farming 10 rabbits for like a campaign, which is like the free battle pass, or just like a daily task or weekly task, because if you play SimpleMMO, it mimics the task system. You're going to sit there, you could F off, do whatever you want. Oh, I killed it, it's done. You still have to re-engage that bunny to get your second kill, your third kill, your fourth kill. It's broken down in here, good or bad. Yeah. Oh yeah, and what does Yomo talk about? Do you manage health in those other idle games where you can start battling and just leave? In Ironwood, you equip food to heal automatically. Yeah. So thank you, Alan. But that's what's going on with battle system, and he demonstrates it here, and how the battle will show up on the top of the toolbar or taskbar while you're flipping through pages. But my guess is, just like with forging or crafting or farming, whatever you're doing, I feel you're still kind of trapped to combat, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, because even though you're not actually like there waiting for the hunt to complete and then click the combat, it's just going to like automatically roll into that. I'm pretty sure you'll break your combat if you go to start mining or anything else. And there's no social component in the game unless you're using Discord, so it's like I still feel like you're still on standby for your combat. But that's something to be further discussed when we do a deeper dive into combat, and eventually maybe it'll change even more through various testing. But Mike and Yumbo really, this is their approach to IdleMMO is how can we get more activity out of players in a game that has idle in the name, and we don't want it to be 100%, like a pure idle game. Yeah, so he talks about this. He talks about everything. Jesus, Tio, thank you for the 5 CouchCat memberships. Please have your memberships enabled. People are gifting it like crazy. Thank you, Tio. Shout out to Tio. He's a YouTube mod. He's a good dude. Zerno got lucky. Lucas, Mobile, and Corn Soup, dude. What a freaking name. Corn Soup. Yeah, Yomu just said in chat, hunting still shares the current activity limit. Maybe the pets could change that with battling like the post says. Yeah, true. All right. Wouldn't that be something, Yomu, if pets were more than just something cute to look at, which they discuss later in the blog post. But anyway, through phase 2, combat sucked. That's all I can say. That's my opinion. I'm not here to fight others on it. I'm not here to die on that hill. I'm just saying it sucked. Like, I did not enjoy it. All right, moving on to membership. So here is the most controversial thing that I experienced in phase 2, me personally, okay? And Crazy Fi. Because we're joined to the hip. We're the same person. We're people. We're whatever, you know what I mean. So in phase 2, there was a page for memberships. So you could see, of course, everything's subject to change, it's in testing, etc. But as a tester coming into this, in the membership page, fully fleshed out with all the benefits, EXP. You know how in the initial blog post of IdleMMO, alt characters were a thing, like, hey, we're making it easier to have an alt account. You're logged into one account, you just easily flip-flop. That was behind a paywall. There was no free alt account. Inventory size, idle time in an idle game, because previously it was a suck fest. It was 30 minutes of idle time and an hour if you paid. No one could pay, by the way, during the phase 2. Like, players opted in. We were all gifted like a membership bundle throughout the test phase to see what it would be like. You could choose how to test it as a free player or a monthly subscription, kind of like in SimpleMMO, like Plebeian. So there was a lot of things tied to that membership. And then there was also a survey for monetization, which they mention here, that I myself filled out. I was against pretty much everything in there. But of course, I looked at it as a business, and, when push comes to shove, how would you like to see monetization? But my biggest gripe was, if there's a thing, well, if this is an idle game, was monetization really hurt? And to an extent, that's true. But if you're going to have if you're going to have leaderboards, baseline competition that players will take seriously, outside of friends list leaderboards, because I think you can kind of like be relaxed with that. But if you're going to have leaderboards and you can get more EXP, you can get more inventory, you can get alt accounts, you can get more idle time, that's whack. So luckily that's all pretty much dismantled or coming to a soft landing, or a change, so to speak. But they mentioned this. They also mentioned that the membership will be their primary revenue source. Of course, Galahad Creative has multiple projects under the belt. But if that's true, if IdleMMO is purely going to be sustained, if this project or this game isn't going to be, supported by Idle or SimpleMMO, Fitburner, whatever the fuck it's called, I don't, any other thing that Galahad Creative's doing, then yeah, this membership is the easiest and I would say harmonious way to monetize your game. But they go on saying that the membership, that's a primary way to run the game, and that they wanted to, not launch a game with inadequate membership. Something that you'll see like Patreon tiers, like pay $5 a month and you'll get a picture of my dog every week. Some shit like that. So they wanted to avoid that, and they laid it on thick, and they knew, or at least they're saying Mike is saying in the blog post, that know, not everything was going to stick, or if it even should have been there in the first place. But essentially, they start talking about, you know, being inspired by RuneScape, and how that payment method worked for RuneScape or Jagex in the past, but it doesn't really apply now. And I will say, RuneScape is interesting because one, RuneScape, they did the whole zones, you know, equipment. You know, you can't equip dragon hide, you can't equip dragon swords or spears or javelins, whatever, right? They locked free-to-play players out, but they had a robust game for free players anyway, right? You know, hundreds of quests. And I would say IdleMMO and RuneScape are not the same game, so I wouldn't even apply that to the first place, because they mentioned this, you know, like idle clans, which is very detrimental to idle clans, but on the flip side, it was a cheap one-off. It was a way for them to get you to spend $10 just to get farming skill and shit, right? But they initially thought they would lock skills behind a paywall and zones, because if you look at the map on IdleMMO, there's a lot of zones. You can go to a lot of places, and they Mike mentions here, right here, it says, you know, something akin to RuneScape with locked out skills, locations, etc. But that was not going to work for IdleMMO, and the community let them know that, which is a good thing. And Crazyfy in chat says, PR wise, it is better to make things free that were paid before than make the free things paid. Yes, that is 100% our stance. Chat's going, you know, they're doing their thing. They're all kissing in chat around the fire. We don't condone kissing around the fire. It's dangerous. It could burn your lips. Okay, so anyway, here are the primary changes that they might discuss through the blog post. The alt accounts. The cool thing that, by the way, only was going to be to members. They're changing that. They're changing how many you get for free, how you can unlock them with in-game currency, and through combat level 60. So basically, end-game shit. Good. If you want alt accounts, that's awesome. You know, I'm not going to play this game with an alt account. I don't know. I don't have the time for that. And you can't trade between alt accounts, so don't even think about it, you know? Unless you're a cheater. If you're a cheater, go ahead. All right, so idle times. Here's a huge thing. Initially, 30 minutes and then an hour. Now, through phase 2, it was boosted. So it was 60 minutes for free players and then 120 for paying players. But now they're looking at, there's still a gap there. It's still lackluster. So now they're looking at an 80 minutes for free-to-play players, with maybe 120 remaining for paid. I don't know. Something to be discussed further, and Mike mentions that. But yeah, just wild. Just paying for idle time. I don't know if what's the last game you played where you had to pay for idle time? I'm trying to really think, because I think any game I like encountered, I quit, because I was like, what? Like, SimpleMMO is a little different, where like your idle time is really jobs, and you use diamonds to get jobs, which you can get, you know, being a pleb, buying diamonds from players, event currency when events are out. But I don't look at SimpleMMO as an idle game. So yeah, idle clans. You're right. You could unlock more idle time in idle clan. Idle clans was such a fucking mess. Okay, so there's some games that they let you watch an ad to increase idle time. Okay. But people are saying, like Foretold, I have not paid for a game just to get extra idle time. Yeah, so true. Sola says Toontown. Sola, you know, rest in peace in chat for admitting you fucking played Toontown. All right, moving on. Toontown is fit. Dude, I remember watching Disney as a kid, XD, and like every freaking other commercial was, I'm Corey from That's So Raven playing Toontown. Like shit like that. All right, members get a marginal 15% 15% EXP bonus. This is the only one I was like, who really cares at the end of the day? That's not huge. It's not 50%. It's not 25%. There was an EXP boost, and this is where like the whole leadership board, you know, comes into play, because that EXP does compound over time, especially if you're doing the crafting side of things or the skill side of things. I mean, even in combat was a slog to level. I don't know, man, but it was a thing. And then they're now just mentioning like, hey, what you were to get, you know, what you're going to get, you will, as a free player, get access to every area. And that, you know, that's going to include event locations, what have you. But there's nothing going to be locked out skill-wise, location-wise. All right, so they address further or the additional stuff. So that was the inventory, which you were going to get additional inventory slots originally through the Phase 2 paid plan, additional pets, and bank slots. I didn't even have a bank in the testing, but those were things you were going to get. But they made changes. Mike states here they increased the free inventory from 28 to 35, bank slots from 28 to 35, pet slots from 7 to 14. There's a lot of pets in this game. And then they decreased the membership inventory slot from 49 to 42, and same thing with banks. And now they've made a change, which, I mean, you see this in Isle Clans too. You can increase these slots, the inventory, bank, pet stuff, with gold. So 7 additional slots. Okay, so Mike's further comments on membership. You know, it's the blatantly say, man, it's expensive running, you know, creating a game, and that's true. And so they're tackling the balance, trying to avoid the moniker, you know, pay to play, you know, or pay to win. So we're obviously going to see we're going to see how this develops further. Definitely keep an eye. I will personally keep an eye on memberships and how it evolves in the future of IdleMMO, unless I'm locked out. We'll see. Moving on to pets, this was a big thing. They were useless in Phase 2, and we were all told this, but people were still going ham. They were collecting whatever pets they could. We all got a free pet for the testing. They're cute as hell. They all have like evolutions, so to speak. I guess they're called evolutions, right? Yeah, but they're awesome. Pets are cool. If you're a SimpleMMO player, you want a pet system, and you're going to get one in IdleMMO. But they're expanding upon pets here with health, hunger, and happiness. You could pat your pet in the Phase 2, and it just said, you know, it just made them happy. But I guess here now they leap. There's animation where they leap when you pet them. Am I going to feed my pet? No, probably not. Because I need the food. Because I get my ass kicked fighting goblins. Like level 6 goblins or whatever they were. Crazy Feist's cute little murder pets. Hey, Cheap Hugs, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. All right, so there's now search functionality. That's sweet. I'm not going to go over that. I think that should always be in a game, and I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it's back here in IdleMMO. Profile status will be viewable by other players. There's, you know, very basic stuff here. You can now appear offline. So, okay, pause real quick. Cheap Hugs, thank you for the $10. Hi, people. What I miss? Apparently, we streaming on Wednesday now. Yeah, so this was going to be a video, but I figured, why not stream this? Going over the latest IdleMMO blog posts. That's what's happening right now, Cheap Hugs. Thank you. Oh my god, new subscriber. Did that say Marilyn or Marlin? That was too quick. It was so quick I couldn't see it. But thank you for subscribing. I'll have to look in the back end. Okay, we're all caught up. All right. Scott Pilgrim reference. Yeah, Scott Pilgrim's awesome. Okay, you can appear offline, so if you're playing during work, you know what to do. That's what I'm pretty sure that's what Mike's alluding to. Also, if you're hiding from your e-girlfriend, you know, because e-girls will ruin your life. Yeah, Marilyn Metz, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Bombs. But yeah, and then updated character page. And they're just saying, or Mike was just saying there, what was shown off originally was outdated. And even the first day, like within the first couple hours of testing, it changed, and it changed to this, and it looked awesome. So I definitely do like, I will say this from playing the game, the aesthetic is appealing. The design's clean. What's being displayed, has its purpose. I wish I could hide my activity in total level because I'm a noob, and Axie Storm is a bully. But those are things you can't always change. But yeah, the aesthetic's awesome, the art's awesome, and the location's awesome. And then Crazy says, yeah, I like that you can hide your activity. Yeah. Yeah, Crazy should definitely hide his because he does not play. He's a fake gamer. And then they mentioned campaigns. Campaigns, if you weren't playing or weren't told, this is essentially the free battle pass. So you work towards, or you do your tasks to earn campaign EXP, either that's daily, weekly, or monthly, and you slowly level through the battle pass, and you'll unlock skins, tokens, and stones that upgrade weapons and armor. Crazy says, my kid plays for me. Your kid who's like 2 months old. Cheap Hug says, like and sub peeps. Thank you for reminding them, Cheap Hugs. Spread the word of Couch Cat. Yeah, Hugs is one of the best. But there are changes, and they're saying subject to change, but each global campaign will last for 2 to 3 months. Honestly, the campaign was so easy. And I don't know if that was just a testing environment or what, but man, after it grayed out, I was like, fuck, this is like just an eyesore. But you can swap between different campaigns, and then also the seasonal events. And here's something I forgot to mention, but they're planning for a Halloween release, not like the day of Halloween, but like the season of Halloween. They're planning for a late fall release. That's where we saw that 60% by October, because they want to roll it out. They want to coincide the launch with their first ever seasonal event, which I think is smart. New players coming in, even though you could by default just have like a launch event and just be like, let's celebrate the launch. Everyone gets 75% EXP boost, so we're not in combat hell for the first 10 levels. You could do that, but they want to do a Halloween event launch, which I think would be awesome. It's my favorite Halloween and Christmas events, or just Halloween and winter, holiday events in games. And MMOs like New World was the last one I think I played as a real MMO, are my favorite time. And they go on much more. But yeah, so that's the blog post. Oh, we have a comment. Oh my god. Okay. But anyway, that's the blog post. And wow, why am I just manually scrolling up? That was awful. Chat, before I hop off and go blast my chest and shoulders and other stuff, what do you think? What do you think with everything that's come out so far with IdleMMO? And if you've read this blog post, does it make you feel good inside? Are you worried? Are you just waiting for your turn to test it? The rest of my coffee is cold, by the way. I wanted you all to know that. Unwanted Winter says, new profile pages look sick. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? It was weird at first. It was like very small. It didn't look good at all. And they like cut the image out. But I guess it kind of cuts most of the image out now because they zoom the background. Fluffy says, can't wait to try it out. Fluffy's optimistic. I hope, Fluffy, for your sake, you get to try it. Amelia says, no, it makes me sad because SimpleMMO needs love too. So here's the thing. And Crazyfy talked about this too. This is his stance and I support him, but we believe SimpleMMO is still getting love. The back end changes are necessary. It's just unfortunate that there's not really a lot of press around those releases, right? Since it's all back end changes is not exciting. There's not like a huge list of tangible changes for us as players. But Crazyfy and I believe it's not getting abandoned. And if IdleMMO is going to have its own segregated membership fees to support their game, IdleMMO isn't just going to disappear either. Crazyfy says, you gotta give SimpleMMO love before it will love you. That's right, Amelia. Do you love SimpleMMO enough? Silver says, needs custom art? Hell no. If custom art comes into this game, I'm done. I'm so over it. Bomb says SimpleMMO needs a UI GUI makeover to make it look as good as this. Well, the avatar has already, or excuse me, the logo of SimpleMMO has already changed. So what comes next? If IdleMMO is built out in a beautiful way, what's to stop them from copying and pasting into Simple? But SimpleMMO is built on a whole different framework, and it's worse. Fluffy says, I will collect all the pets. I will become the very best like no one ever was. Wow. You really are a Pokemon trainer at heart. Tio says, we have a mutual hate-like relationship, SimpleMMO and I. So Yomu, one of the co-devs, in response to Amelia, says, no worries, once IdleMMO gets released, I should somewhat have it under my wing for some time, and Mike is probably going to work on SimpleMMO. Okay, so maybe Yomu, probably isn't the word I would use as a PR statement. Yes. Yeah, mobile UI was mentioned for SimpleMMO. Yeah. Okay, so Yomu corrected me. It's the same framework. It's just cleaner code for IdleMMO. All right. Thank you, Yomu. You piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. Probably will work on Simple. Man, what a PR statement. So Fluffy mentions what I call SimpleMMO. So SimpleMMO is a 2D dating sim. IdleMMO is cold dating sim. And next will be VR MMO. And we all know why. Yeah, IdleMMO during testing, the joke was it's coal. I called it coal MMO, and it just, a lot of people were calling it coal something, right? It's so fucking funny because at any given moment, because you need coal at the time of testing, you need coal for literally fucking every activity, for skills, for forging, for cooking, whatever, right? And any given moment, you go to the mines to go get coal, and it would be like 50 players are here. It's like fuck. Yomu says Mike likes the coal memes as well. It's funny, but it needs a change for sure. There's no way that. I feel like it's like Idle Clans when they made the nerf to mining, where they reduced the amount of ore that you could just solo mine and craft, and then they added coal to additional ores, so you couldn't just be like, I'm gonna mine silver and that'll be it and I'll be fine. No, they're like, now you have to mine coal and silver, you idiot. It's like, fuck. Yomu says we should make it so you can feed pets with coal. All right, Yomu, someone mute him. Just kidding. And so this is something Crazyfy. I'm about to get off, but I'll read a couple more. But this is something me and Crazyfy talked about offline as well. Amelia says most folks think Simple is going to get left. God, it's hard reading, like Euro English. Damn it, Amelia is going to get left to the wayside. So it'd be nice if he does. Yeah. So that's the thing. Inherently, with the development of IdleMMO and the silence on the SimpleMMO side, you're going to get players who think, you know, it's over. Fluffy says pets hatch from coal. Foretold said, I ran it back. That's so exciting. October 21st is the B day, and that would be cool or whatever. All right, so Foretold is asking Mike, please hot drop IdleMMO on October 21st. Okay, that'll do it. If you have any direct comments for Mike, the blog post has comments. I highly encourage you to comment there. I'm sure he reads it. If you have anything, any reactions or any replies to what we went over today together in the stream, please leave a comment below once this becomes a VOD. If you are the only one in your community who's, you know, at least a bit excited about IdleMMO or knows about its existence, please take the URL or take the shareable link and spread it. Tell your friends, tell your guildies in SimpleMMO. You know, let's get more people in the discussion of IdleMMO, what it could be, and what it could mean to the SimpleMMO player base or to Galahad Creative on a greater perspective. But yeah, when Jason making a game that, what the anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out with me in my new webcam angle. my new desk is large, so I'm still figuring out where I want to put things. And we went to Costco today. Here's a little tidbit for anyone who's still here. We went to Costco today, and Kimter's just got me a new 4K monitor by LG. It's the 32UN 550 31.5 incher with the adjustable height and vest mount compatibility, so I can like have more room on my desk. But yeah, some upgrades here for the stream. Again, thank you. Please like the stream. Please share the stream to others. Subscribe if you're new here. And thank you to everyone who subscribed today. Thank you to everyone who donated today and the supers and the gifted memberships. And head on over to couchcatpaw.com for more SimpleMMO and IdleMMO content. We'll see you for regular programming this Thursday, 7 p.m. US Eastern. Crazyfly and I, with the help of some of our friends, Amelia and Cutie, one of our mods, we did an unlisted stream, and everything appears to be working. No more static, no more bullshit. So we're stoked about that, and we'll see you then. Peace out, everyone. Oh, you know what? I'll put the ending stream B-roll going, so you can all still talk to each other if you want to. So we can all say goodbye and eat some s'mores, whatever. Right? All right. See you, everyone.